For my project, I have created my own variation of the classic arcade game, the Keymaster game. Typically in a Keymaster game, the player controls the height of the key, and once the button is unpressed, the key extends into a keyhole, and if the keyhole is filled, the player wins. In my variation, I have a button that raises the key, right here, with a servo motor, and another servo motor in the key box extends the key to cover my keyhole. The keyhole has a photoresistor in it that senses whether the hole is covered or not. So here's a quick behind the scenes look of the circuitry behind my game. I have a servo motor up here that turns this wheel that brings up the key, and there is another servo motor that controls the arm. Both of those servo motors are connected to this breadboard and sent to the Arduino. This button is also connected to that breadboard and sends values to the Arduino. And back here is the photoresistor with a pin that acts as a voltage divider and sends those resistor or light values to the Arduino. And everything is controlled by this 5-volt battery pack. If the photoresistor senses that the keyhole has been covered, a score of 50 is added to your scoreboard. In my variation of the game, you can play multiple rounds by holding down the button once again after your turn. Each time you cover the hole, a score of 50 will be added. If you pass the high score, a new high score will be made. My variation of the game also makes it so that if the button isn't pressed after your turn for 5 seconds, it assumes that a new player is playing and the score will be brought back down to 0 and the high score remains the same. So let's try it out. To start the game, you hold down the button and the key is dropped to the lowest position and then slowly raised until the button is let go of and you have decided your vertical position. The arm is then extended and you see if you cover the keyhole. So in this case, I totally missed the keyhole and my score remains 0. I can hold down the button again to start a new game. So in this case, I covered the keyhole, and now my score is 50. I can keep playing and see if I can pass the high score. Okay, so after playing a little longer, I'm close to beating the high score. So let's see if I can do that. So I beat the high score and the high score has changed. So now, if I stop playing, and I take my finger off the button and I don't start a new game, it's going to assume that a new player is playing and the score is dropped to 0. And now it's the next player's turn. And they can try to beat the high score.